Good morning. Madam Chair, would you like me to start? Looks like everyone's here.
Yes, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. My name is Ana Armenta. I am the Arizona Racing Commission Secretary. Today is August 15th, 2024. This is the 726th Arizona Racing Commission meeting taking place via Google Meet, and I will do the roll call. Madam Chair French Contreras.
Here.
Vice Chair Olson.
Present.
Commissioner Coolidge.
Present.
The total of 3. Thank you. That motion passes. We have a quorum. It is now 10:01 a.m. and the floor is yours, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Anna, and welcome to the 726th Racing Commission meeting. I will call it to order. We have a full house this morning. That's good to see. And I also want to let everybody know we have a hard stop by noon today because of other commitments by our commission members. So with that, let's get going on action item B, which is the number 1, the commission consideration of a joint stipulation to stay Ronald A. Sims notice of appeal to the Arizona Racing Commission of Directors June 25th, 2024 determination, Ronald Sims license application to be incomplete. We can go into executive session if necessary. Do I have any updates from staff or legal?
Madam Chair, Ron Sims, counsel here, if I may have one moment to
Yes, sir.
I do this almost every year now, but here's just a quick recap for the commission. The appeal and request for a stay is essentially identical to those entered by the commission in 2017, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. The state of play is as follows. Ron's license application was denied in December of 2013. That denial was overturned by an ALJ in 2015. This commission overturned that ruling in 16. The trial court reinstated the ALJ decision in 2018. The Court of Appeals overturned that in 2021. And then after some more proceedings in the trial court, the parties are now back before the Court of Appeals again. Oral argument took place on an appeal in March of 2024, and the parties are awaiting a ruling. Now, around the same time in 2014, Jerry and others purported to remove the general partner and Ron from TP Racing. And the propriety of that action is an open question that has been litigated in the civil case in the trial court for the last decade. While the licensing appellate process has played out, here's what's happened every year since 2017. Ron Sims submits a timely renewal license application. Director Casillas issues a letter stating that the application is considered incomplete, essentially because of the pendency of the civil case and the debate over the ownership question. Ron then appeals from Director Casillas' letter, and that's what we did again this year. An important issue with respect to all of these cases is the outcome of the ongoing appeal on Ron's license application from all the way back in 2013. And so what we've always done in order to save the commission the time and effort of having to hear an appeal every single year about whether or not Director Casillas' letter was providently issued, the department and Ron just stipulate that the commission stay consideration of the issue until the licensing appeals process is concluded. And the commission's entered that stay every time. So that the commission council has graciously signed the stipulation dated July 25th, 2024. So I therefore ask the commission that it stay consideration of Ron Sims's appeal of the director's June 25, 2024 ruling deeming his license application to be incomplete in accordance with the terms of said stipulation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Novak. When are you anticipating a decision from the Court of Appeals after oral argument?
Could be this afternoon, could be in several months. Courts of appeals, sometimes they rule in a day, sometimes they rule in a year or more. It's hard to predict.
Thank you. Do I have any questions or comments from fellow commissioners?
Chair, if there's nothing else, I'm ready to make a motion.
Go ahead.
I move to stay the consideration of Ronald A. Sims notice of appeal to the Arizona Racing Commission of Directors, June 25th, 2024, determination regarding Mr. Sims's license application in accordance with the terms of the agreement submitted to the commission.
Second.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you. Anna, go ahead.
Thank you. I have a motion by Vice Chair Olson and a second by, and I'm sorry, I didn't hear that, but I think it was Commissioner Coolidge.
Correct.
Okay. I will call roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson.
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
with a total of 3 yeses. Thank you. That motion passes.
I thank the commission as always for its time.
Thank you, Mr. Novak.
And thank you.
Dropping down to item 2, the request from Turf Paradise for approval of the off-track facility, The Porch in Glendale, located at 312 North Gilbert Road, Gilbert, but it's called The Porch in Glendale. 85234. The commission may go into executive session if required. Do I have any updates from staff?
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair.
Yes.
This is Brian Duncan from the department. We have received and supplied all the paperwork along with the Gilbert City approval for the porch.
Okay.
I did have 2 inspectors go by yesterday just to view the plans and the property. Everything looked to be good and all in order. We will again, if approved, send inspectors again to look at it once the facility is complete. In addition, prior to opening, all employees and other responsible parties will be licensed, and we will do that inspection again prior to giving them consent to commence operations. With that being said, the department would recommend approval for the OTB, the porch for Turf Paradise.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. I have a request to speak from Mr. Francia. Would you like to speak now, sir?
Yeah, this is actually Dave Johnson. We share a phone here on this teleconference.
Got it.
But Madam Chair, members of the commission, what I would like to point out, there's one thing that I really want to point out real quickly is that the porch is in the town of Gilbert. It is not in the city of Glendale, as it does state on the agenda item. But it is, if you follow through the rest of the agenda item, it does say that it is located at 312 North Gilbert in Gilbert, Arizona. This is the very first OTB we've been able to open up in the town of Gilbert. It's a really, really nice location. We think it's going to do extremely well. And we have some historical data to help support that. This is about 1.5 miles, a little bit less, south of the location we used to have in Mesa. That was always a top 5 site for us. So we're really excited about it. It has great potential. The owner of this location is an experienced owner. He operated an off-track betting site for us in the city of Scottsdale for 6.5 years without incident in the entertainment district. So we got an experienced owner, a very nice location, beautiful site in a good area, and we would ask that you would approve this. This will generate handle for the track, for the horsemen. It'll just be really good for racing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. So I do see it's called Local Edition Downtown LLC, doing business as The Porch. So there really is nothing pertaining to the town of Glendale, correct?
No, it is not in Glendale. Yes.
Thank you.
That's just
Thank you, sir. Vice Chair Olson, you raised your hand.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Duncan, I just have a quick follow-up question for you. Thank you, Mr. Johnson, for your presentation as well. Mr. Duncan, based on yours and the department's review of all the records and your site visit, and with your recommendation, can you please confirm that based on all of this review, it's your determination or the department's determination that opening up the OTB at the porch in Gilbert is in the best interest of the state and racing overall?
Yes, Vice Chair Olson, I do agree. The approval would help all of racing. And again, it was a very good location, like Mr. Johnson was talking about. We did talk to the managers. They're all excited to have this open up. So they're looking for the business as well.
Chair, with that, I'm ready to make a motion.
Go ahead, please.
For the reasons stated here today and based on the materials presented to us, I move that Turf Paradise request for approval of I move to approve Turf Paradise's request for the off-track betting facility called The Porch, located in Gilbert, Arizona.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Vice.
Thank you. I have a first and second. Go ahead, Anna. I apologize.
All right. Thank you. I have a motion by Vice Chair Olson and a second by Commissioner Coolidge. I will call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
with a total of 3 yeses. Thank you. That motion passes.
Thank you, Anna. Dropping down to number 3, the simulcast agreement pursuant to ARS Section 5112U. Following Turf Paradise, A1 Fairgrounds, Maryland Jockey Club, Belmont, Maryland Jockey Club for Churchill Downs. I'm sorry, 5 Churchill Downs, 6 Kentucky Downs, 7 Lone Star Park, 8 Los Alamitos, 9 Remington Park, and 10 Will Rogers Downs. Any updates from staff?
Yes, Madam Chair, you may have received the first agenda. There's actually 11 on the agenda.
Okay. And that would be,
The one that was added would be the Downs at Albuquerque, which now is on number 4. So it should be
Thank you.
Fairgrounds, Maryland Jockey Club, Belmont, Downs at Albuquerque, Maryland Jockey Club, Churchill Downs, Kentucky Downs, Lone Star Park, Los Alamitos, Remington Park, and then Will Rogers Downs.
thank you, Mr. Duncan. That's been noted and amended. Vice Chair Olson, you have a comment?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I just need to disclose that I need to abstain from agenda item B3A9, Los Alamitos. So if we could structure it with 2 motions.
So let's note that again, please. Vice Chair, what you?
Commissioner French.
Okay, sorry, I need to abstain from
Or name
agenda item
after you.
B. Sorry,
I apologize, but the volume is coming in and out on both of you. On Madam Chair and Commissioner Vice Chair
Okay.
Olson.
is that any better?
It's not coming out.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair. This is
Sir.
Director Casillas. I have.
Yes, sir.
Assistant Attorney General here, please, if you will.
Yes, good morning, all commissioners. Commissioner Olson, you mentioned abstain. Do you mean there's a conflict? Is that what you're recusing yourself? Okay, instead of abstaining.
Correct, yes. I have a conflict. I cannot vote on agenda item 3A9, Los Alamitos.
So that would be a recusal.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Yother, do you need to speak on this now, or are you?
Yes, ma'am, I do. I'm the president of Arizona HPPA, And we've been trying to get this Los Alamitos approved. And I don't know if the state understands or even cares, but it's affecting the lives of the horsemen and the purse money. And without a quorum, and I understand, I talked to Director Casillas this morning. He's trying to work through the ninth floor, but somebody has to take some action here. I mean, we can't go. We are running a risk of having other states cut us off because we're not accepting the signal from Los Alamitos. The urgency is here. I don't know what the conflict is, but somebody needs to do something. The state has to do something. The commission has to do something, or it. I'm totally frustrated. I just want to let you know what we're up against. Los Alamitos starts racing here in the near future. I don't have the exact date at this point in time, but without somebody waking up down there and figuring out that we need to get some of this stuff approved, and they need to appoint some commissioners to the commission, or the horsemen are suffering. I mean, we've been suffering since I've been here, and I've been racing horses here since 1982. We've been suffering because of the lack of the state's ability to consider what the horseman needs. We've been suffering because of the commissions, and they're hamstrung by the governor or the ninth floor, however you want to put it. But at some point in time, they have to start taking some consideration of the horsemen and what we need to operate. I mean, this is totally ridiculous, but I don't know what I can do about it but complain. So thank you for your time.
Mr. Yother, I do acknowledge your concerns and your complaint. I have the same frustration. Our vice chair has to recuse herself. That's nothing within her control. It's just a professional act that she has to take. I do ask, can we get any thoughts from legal? Is there a way to approve Los Alamitos either administratively or conditionally, or is there something that we can do on that pending our hard search to get these seats filled on the commission?
Madam Chair, may an executive session be called?
Yes, ma'am. I'll make a motion for an executive session.
And just to clarify, I shouldn't join that session, or do you need me for quorum? Can you
I
elaborate?
would like you in that. Yeah.
You would be included, Commissioner Olson.
Okay, understood. Thank you for the clarification. I'll second.
Thank you.
Thank you. With a motion by Madam Chair French Contreras and a second by Vice Chair Olson, I will call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge.
Yes.
The total of 3. Thank you. That motion passes. It is now 10:18 a.m. and we will move into executive session.
Thank you.
Looks like we have everyone back in. I will do the roll call. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Here.
Vice Chair Olson,
Present.
Commissioner Coolidge.
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum. It is 10:28 a.m. and floor is yours, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We're going back into action item B3 in regards to the concerns expressed by Mr. Lothar regarding Los Alamitos. Can I ask Director Casillas, do we have any update? Would it be appropriate to ask now if we have any update in what is being done regarding filling the empty seats, and what the dates for Los Alamitos are, so we can get this addressed for these horsemen before it's creates more problems than it already has?
Right, Madam Chair, to update the commission regarding commissioner appointment. I've been updated by the governor's office that they have vetted potential applicants. They've interviewed potential applicants, and they are currently conducting background check on them. I don't have a specific date as to when the background checks will be completed and when the appointments will become official. However, they have been informed of the need to have additional commissioners regarding this particular matter with Los Alamitos and commissioner recusals on things that may come up in the future going forward. So they're aware of this, and I'm hoping that we can get appointments done timely. If we do, we will schedule a special meeting to try to get this done. Los Alamitos runs, I believe, between September 13th through the 22nd, and hopefully we'll have some commissioners appointed before then and be able to get a special meeting scheduled. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is Mr. Yoder, you raised your hand? Go ahead. Turn your mic on, Mr. Yoder.
Sorry about that. Lloyd Yoder with the HPPA Arizona Horsemen. I'd just like to request that the horse industry is a revenue source for the state. And I'd like to also quote a Reverend Jonathan Mayhew, an 18th century clergyman that says taxation without representation. And I'd like to ask that we push the ninth floor, the governor's office, that we need representation. And if we had a full board, and I can't remember the last time we had, like I say, I've been around since '82. I can't remember the last time we had a full commissioner board. And if somebody dropped off, we would still have enough for a quorum, or if somebody had to recuse themselves from a vote, we'd still have a board. I'd like to see the horsemen and the industry be represented and taken seriously by the state. If that could, I don't know how that could be passed on, but I'd be willing to do whatever it took through either Mr. Casillas or the ninth floor, whatever it took. But I'd like to see it, not just one added, and then we've got another problem the next time somebody leaves the commission or whatever. I'm sure you understand what we're requesting, but I'd like to see it, the board to be fully seated for the commission. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Yoder. Your concerns are duly noted, and I can reassure you that we're all doing everything we can to get the seats filled as quickly as possible. And I'd be happy to keep you up to date, as well as Director Casillas, as to how this moves forward. And I assure you, we'll ask for a meeting just as soon as we have a quorum and can move on Los Alamitos. I reassure you on that. And I apologize for the delay myself. With that being said, thank you, sir. Can I ask for a motion then on item B3A 1 through 10, without Los Alamitos.
Yes, Chair. I'll move to approve agenda item B3A, items 1 through 8 and 10 through 11, the simulcast agreements pursuant to ARS 5-112U.
Second.
Again, that's items 1 through 8 and 10 through 11, omitting number 9.
Right, and we have a second from Commissioner Coolidge. Anna, do you want to go ahead and put the motion?
Yes, thank you. I have a motion by Vice Chair Olson and a second by Commissioner Coolidge. I will call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Yes,
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
with a total of 3 yeses. Thank you. That motion passes.
thank you. And it is noted then that Los Alamitos is not included, correct? Anna?
Yes.
Thank you. Dropping down to B4A 1 through 11, Fairgrounds, Maryland. Oh, I apologize. This is for simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to IHA section 3004A3. And then we have Turf Paradise A1 through 10, Fairgrounds, Maryland, JC Belmont, Maryland Jockey Club, Churchill Downs, Kentucky Downs, Lone Star Park, Los Alamitos, Remington Park, Will Rogers Downs, and I'm assuming that also will include the Downs in Albuquerque that I didn't have on my agenda. Mr. Duncan?
I can answer that. Yes.
Thank you. Do I have any staff updates regarding completion of the pending applications?
Madam Chair.
Yes,
This is
sir.
Brian Duncan. Sorry, I'm having mic issues.
That's all right.
I don't have any updates that are new, but all items were turned in. And as you can see on the agenda, items 1 through 4, which are Fairgrounds, Maryland, the Timonium Fair Meet, Belmont, and the Downs at Albuquerque are all complete. The rest of the items are still missing either the host commission or the host horseman. With that being said, the department would recommend that items 1 through 4 be approved, and then items 5 through 11 be conditionally approved, pending the department receiving all documentation.
And I'm assuming that is pulling Los Alamitos, which application is also pending for lack of quorum.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I'm ready to make a motion if you'll allow
Yes.
it. I move to approve simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to IHA section 3004A3 for agenda items B4A, items 1 through 4.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Vice Chair Olson and a second by Commissioner Coolidge. I will call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Yes,
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
with a total of 3 yeses. Thank you. That motion passes.
Madam
Thank-
Chair, to make a second motion.
yes, ma'am.
I move to approve simulcast horse racing, or excuse me, I move to conditionally approve simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to IHA section 3004A3 for agenda items B4A, items 5 through 8 and 10 through 11. And for clarity, that's omitting agenda item 9, Los Alamitos, pending receipt of further documentation by the department and to empower the department to act without further action by the commission.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Vice Chair Olson and a second by Commissioner Coolidge. I will call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Yes,
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
with a total of 3 yeses. Thank you. That motion passes with conditional approval and That does not include item number 4.
Thank you. Dropping down to item C, the information reports. Let's start with track safety report. Do we have Mr. Estrada or Dr. Gale?
I'll just give a brief report in the interest of time. Just 2 things related to HISA that have happened in the off season. One is that the Federal Trade Commission approved the new rules, and those have gone into effect July 8th of 2024. HISA has held webinars to assist trainers and veterinarians to become familiar with these rules. There will be more training coming in September. They've also updated all the handbooks that they have and other resources on their website. So I would encourage all the horse folks to take a look at those things and see how they may be impacted by these rule changes. I won't go into detail of the rules at this time. The second item that I want to update, and I apologize, I didn't send this report to be included in the packet, but again, HISA is doing quarterly reports on their safety measures and safety metrics. And just as a quick notation, again, Turf Paradise for this meet in 2024 had a 1.41 fatality rate per 1,000 starts. Nationwide, HISA tracks had a rate of 0.80, 0.80, I should say. Tracks that are not participating in HISA had a rate of 1.8. And again, that was an improvement across the nation as well as at Turf Paradise. The previous meet rate was 1.98 versus 1.41. So again, about a 30-some% improvement. With that, I would be willing to take any questions.
Thank you. That sounds like we're tracking in the right direction. That's very positive. Any comments from our fellow commissioners? Thank you. Let's drop down then to budget report.
Good morning, everybody. This is Andrew Hawks with the Department of Gaming. I apologize we don't have visuals for you today, but I will read off some of the statistics that we share.
Thank you.
The total revenue received in July, which was the first month of our new fiscal year, was $73,476. Approximately 61,000 of that came via RWA. The rest of the revenue comprised of dark day assessments and licensing fees. The total spending and encumbrances through July are $78,032. The racing fund's cash balance at the end of July was $2,396,905, and that will go down over $400,000 either this month or early next month due to the HISA assessment that we'll be paying. Any questions?
No, thank you. Any questions from fellow commissioners? Thank you, Mr. Hawks. Dropping down to legislative update.
And I'll be sharing that as well, except there are no updates this month.
Thank you. They're not in session at this time, correct? So everything's status quo for the time, correct?
That's right.
Thank you, sir. All right. Dropping down to number 4, report on International Horse Racing Integrity Act. Mr. Guessman, are you available?
Yeah, this is Leroy Guessman with the National HBTA. We're waiting for the August 30th deadline of HISA to submit. If they're going to submit any paperwork, which would be that they're appealing. However, they have not submitted that to the 5th District Court yet. So we have to wait and see what happens by August 30th. Have that and no further update than that.
So August 30th is their deadline?
Yes.
Thank you. Any questions from fellow commissioners? Let's drop down to 5 permittee reports, not to exceed 3 minutes. We've got Arizona Greyhound Racing.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, Aaron Feinberg for American Greyhound Racing.
Yes, sir.
No update this month.
Thank you. Can you please mute your mics if you're not presenting or speaking? Let's drop down to 5B County Fairs. (5C) Turf Paradise.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Vincent Francia for Turf Paradise Racecourse. Just to update since the last meeting, again, Turf is following the correspondence sent to us on June the 24th by the department on behalf of the department and HISA. And these are the things that we must be in compliance with prior to opening day in November. Since the last commission meeting, the additional water tank has been installed in the maintenance area. And what that does during times when the horses are consuming a great deal of water, which is primarily in the beginning of the meet and then again in April, it produces an absence of water for our water trucks to keep the track watered, which is very important. But excuse me, a 10,000 gallon tank has now been installed, so there will be no problems when they're under heavy water consumption. Secondly, the GPS system has been installed in the blade, and what that does, it operates pretty much like a GPS system in your car. In our situation, what it does is once the survey is done here at the track, and then the blade comes out to level the track, and which has to be done on a weekly basis. The GPS system is telling the blade exactly where it has to be at every point of call. The advantage of this is to produce the safest possible track that we can, so that the racing strip, no matter where you are on the turns, on the back stretch or front stretch, that everything is equal all around. In addition, the 2 harrows that we order to be manufactured will be ready and delivered to us in early September. And what that does, when we harrow the track, it's of vital importance that how the harrows one lane, that should be done by all lanes. The 2 additional harrows, which give us 4 on the track, and to keep everything uniform all the way around the track. We continue with all of our inspection and refurbishing of our vehicles. That's done by 2 different firms here in town. And we are on schedule. The first of the horses are scheduled to arrive September 24th, and we will be ready for them. If there are questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Francia. Do I have any questions from fellow commissioners? All right, having none, let's drop down to number 6, optional industry stakeholder association updates. Arizona County Racing Association. Mr. Hare, there we go. I believe your mic was on. Let's drop down. How about Arizona Quarter Horse Racing Association?
Yes, Madam Chair, Lloyd Yother, Arizona Quarter Horse Racing and Breeding Association. We're in the horse racing business, so we're still struggling, but we're still alive. That's all I got to report on the quarter horses. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dropping down to C, Arizona Thoroughbred Breeders Association. How about Horsemen's Benevolent and Protective Association?
Yes, Madam Chair, Lloyd Yother, Arizona HBPA. As I stated earlier in other discussions, I've been around Turf Paradise since 1982. This year is one of the better years that I can remember. that with management, we got our contract, our 3-year contract with the owner, Mr. Sims. Our communication lines have been well open. Understanding on both sides has occurred. It's one of the best relationships that we've had in a number of years. And I want to thank Turf Paradise Management and Mr. Sims for their understanding and willing to work with the horsemen to get what's best for the industries. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention that we are moving forward. The only issues that I have, as Mr. Francia mentioned, is and I spoke to Mr. Sims yesterday, and I will go out to see Mr. Francia on the paving. The paving's been a little sporadic. They usually come in and do it in one fell swoop. We were asking to get it done early before the monsoons, but unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, the monsoons hadn't shown up, and they've got A row and maybe North A and maybe South B that hadn't been done, and that's scheduled to do. And other than that, I do have, and I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but was there any thing that you could share with the executive session that you had on items 3A, 9, and 4A, 9 on Los Alamitos? Is there anything we can do for temporary, or was there anything resolved that we might be able to get this handled before mid-September?
Thank you, Mr. Yother. I can tell you that we absolutely, unfortunately, cannot disclose anything that was discussed in executive session. However, I strongly suggest that you reach out to Director Casillas and have a discussion with him.
Very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. And I have a hand raised. Is it Mr. Francia or Mr. Johnson?
Mr. Francia, yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to update Mr. Yother. I was talking to the paving company today. They will be in this coming Tuesday, to finish up the paving in the stable area. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. Anything else on that item? All right, let's drop down to 6E, Jockeys Guild.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, Daryl here, manager.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you. Madam Chair, I've been in contact with Vince Francia, and I echo what Lloyd Yoder has said. We've worked close with management like never before that I can remember. So it's a good thing what's happening. There are still a lot of issues or repairs that have to be made. And Mr. Francia has assured me he's hired new people. So, because there's a lot of work that now needs to be done to still, it's an old facility, to continue to make it safe for the riders and all the great horsemen of Arizona. So we're working close, and I'm just hoping that we get it straightened out with the health department so the jockeys have some food in the jocks room that's cooked in the room this year, and that continue to sanitize the room like they did last year. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments from commission members before we drop down to item D? Summary of current events affecting Arizona Racing Commission. Members or director may report. Information on report on Breeders' Awards. Information on federal grants. Information reports on Twin Spires Turf Paradise simulcast agreement approval.
Yes, Madam Chair, this is the Director Casillas. Regarding,
Yes.
regarding Twin Spires, I just wanted to update the commission that, on June 28th, 2024, the HBPA approved the Twin Spires simulcast agreement with Turf Paradise. So that matter's been resolved. And I do have Stacy Aramayo on to talk about Breeders' Awards and federal grant.
Great. Let's go ahead. Yes. Stacy?
Hi, this is Stacy Aramayo.
Yes,
I'm the
ma'am.
parimutuel audit supervisor.
Yes.
And I have an announcement for the federal grants. At the end of fiscal 2022, a federal payment was sent to breeders that had received a breeder's award for their Arizona bred horses, both thoroughbreds and quarter horses that finished in first place in an Arizona live race meet between July the 1st, 2021 and June 30th, 2022. The department will contact the breeder and provide the amount of the federal grant money. The breeder must provide invoices and the payment source, such as a canceled check, both front and back, bank statements, or credit card statements. The Arizona Department of Gaming Racing Division is requesting supporting documents for the federal grant money paid to the beneficiaries of the Arizona Breeders' Award. This documentation is sought by the state and the federal government for auditing purposes and must be returned to the department. We're requesting the support of the HBPA and the AQRNB. Thank you.
What kind of dates are we looking at, Mrs. Aramayo?
Once again, please.
What kind of deadlines are they looking at?
We don't have an exact deadline. They are looking at the end of September, possibly October.
And has everybody involved already been notified of this audit?
No, we're going to start notifying them this week.
Yes, Madam
Yes,
Chair, I
Madam
also
Chair.
have an update for item D1B.
Yes, sir.
On January 28th, I did speak with a few of the representatives of the Horsemen's Group. I explained to them that the department needs their help in getting the word out to horse owners, that the department will be sending out documentation to each owner who received federal grant monies to supplement purse monies for horses that finished in live races at Arizona racetracks between July 1st, 2021 and May 6, 2023. The department will complete the documents with the pertinent information to include race date, the race, horse name, and the total supplement purse that was earned. We will then mail the forms to each owner for verification and signature for the grant monies that was received. Additionally, the department will send horse owners emails with a DocuSign link to enable them to complete the form online. The department wants to let the owners know that this documentation will be going out in the near future. This form is sought by the state and federal government for auditing purposes and must be completed and returned to the department. As Stacy said earlier, there is no actual set date of when we're going to do this. We're trying to do it here within the next week. And again, returning everything by either end of September, October, somewhere in there.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Stacy, I apologize. Can you pronounce your last name for me? Mr.
Yes,
Duncan?
Stacy Aramayo.
Aramayo, thank you. I apologize for that earlier. So this is the first time that they're hearing about this request for the documentation, is this meeting?
The owners on the outside, yes. Like I said, I did meet with the horsemen and let them know so that they could spread the word to everybody.
Okay, thank you. Anything else or any questions,
You're welcome.
fellow commissioners? Any future items requested to be on the agenda for next month in September?
None here, ma'am.
Thank you. How about call to the public? I know I have Mr. Nolan. Are you available?
Yes, Chair.
Good
Thank you very
morning,
much.
Mr. Nolan. We're going to give you
Good-
5 minutes, all right?
Okay, I appreciate all the time that's available. So
You're
let's
welcome.
move forward. First, I'd like to speak about this meeting on August 15th, originally scheduled for August 8th, on last month's agenda, and the chair noted it at the end of the meeting last month. There was no notice that a lot of us didn't get on its cancellation on August 8th, and it to be available today. Anyhow, there was just no notice given for the change, and I find that inappropriate. Secondly, let's talk about the last meeting. A lot of that was spent in executive session. 41 minutes between minute 47 and 1 hour and 28 minutes. Another 39 minutes. 80 minutes in executive session. You came out and abruptly ended the meeting. No transparency on any reasons why. A mention of a legal situation that needed to be discussed that long in executive session. But again, a lack of transparency for the racing participants and the wagering public. With that said, I want to keep on focus about why I'm always going to speak. There needs to be more awareness. I don't believe it's at the level it needs to be to try to bring this industry to the way it was prior to Mr. Sims's arrival here. I'm in the neighborhood. I see no apparent help for the aesthetics of this community. Maybe things are being done. There's 150 projects. You mentioned 3 or 4 that actually have been completed. I know that the meet ended May 4th. The horses were probably gone around the 12th, 13th. We're at August 15th. That's 90 days of 150 projects. How many have been completed? That's not a bad question. I mean, 150 projects. Secondly, you have horses coming in approximately 45 days? Looks like a lot of lost time to me. But one thing I want to go back to is the last meeting concerning the financial report. The gentleman did an excellent job, and he wanted to refer to these incentive monies that were reached by the permittee. To me, they bring a great big red flag, and he cited a year, 2002, that there was a negative 2.9 million, but when these incentive monies were added, it got boosted up to 14 million. It's about a $17 million swing. And where did those monies go? Because we don't see it into the infrastructure. We don't see it into the industry. We don't see an appearance of the spending of those funds for horse racing. And that's why it's a concern. Where did they go? Is there accountability? Do we need an account, the Auditor General to reach in and say, hey, these are questions that should be answered. They're good questions. They would help our industry move forward with answers to these questions. They're very concerning when you hear such numbers like that and the continued negative that's going to come in the next couple of years. Now, in the past, it's good that I hear HPBA communicating with the permittee, that the guild is communicating with the permittee, that there's still a lot to do. To me, we had a permittee that was so hell-bent on selling that all of a sudden we've had 100% reversal. That now he's so willing to cooperate and move forward with an industry. To me, that's a red flag in itself. What has changed? Is it the fact that he can't sell the facility? We don't know these answers, but as an industry whose lives and livelihoods are at stake, we deserve some of these to be more transparent. We expect our regulators to help protect the wagering public, the racing participants with some answers. I don't have the answers. It's not my job. There's people vested with those duties to keep the facility clean, neat, safe, compliance, immediate, and then not discard those grievances. They deserve and warrant the time that people put in to bring them to your attention. Again, I know the meeting could go till noon. That would be really scary for me to talk till noon. So I'll be closing now by thanking you. Stay to the awareness. Let's get it to the level to move forward. Let's get an investigation if it's needed for the financials to answer those questions. Where has that money gone? It's not visibly seen to the industry. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Nolan. I will address to the criticism regarding the last meeting. I take responsibility for that. Unfortunately, we did have to end the meeting due to loss of a commission member due to other businesses, because we unfortunately do have other jobs, and had somebody called out, there was no ability to continue the meeting. I did, however, offer anyone to reach out to me if they had questions. If you have other suggestions of how we can handle that, I'm happy to listen to those. We can't go into detail regarding the financials on Turf Paradise at this time because it's not on the agenda. But again, you're welcome to reach out to them or reach out to me, and I'm happy to have discussions with you. I don't think transparency is really an issue. As far as how many projects we'll work on that, I think that's a good question, and we'll try and address that before or at the next meeting. Mr. Francia or Mr. Johnson, did I see you raise your hand?
I did, but I'm going to back off there. I wanted to say something. It was on the agenda item though, so I'm going to, since it's called to the public, I'm just going to decline. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anything else? Mr. Francia, did you just raise your hand or no? No? Thank you. All right, anything else from commission members or the public? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. With the motion by Vice Chair Olson and a second by Commissioner Coolidge, I will call roll. Madam Chair French Contreras.
Anna, I'm going to interrupt you. I apologize. I didn't announce the next scheduled meeting for 2 p.m. on September 17th. It is a virtual meeting. So it is not on the regular second Thursday. It is September 17th at 2 p.m. And I will acknowledge, we'll try and get notification out to everyone in a more expedited or public way if we have meeting changes. So I do apologize for today's change. That was me in order to attend the meeting. And with that, I will say yes on your motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge.
Yes.
Thank you. It is now 11:06 a.m. and this meeting has adjourned. Thank you. If everyone can please exit the meeting.